Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. We had a panel from the Welsh Local Government Association in committee this morning, Minister, discussing matters relating to the draft budget. Now, we all know that these are difficult times for local government funding, but one thing that would help councils to take decisions is some certainty of future funding levels. Now, I know you have provided an indicative budget for 2019-20, so we have moved to a two-year cycle. The situation in Scotland is that they effectively have a three-year cycle. The WLGA are calling for a multi-year settlement and say that a three-year settlement would be a great help for their forward planning. What's your response to that?
Well, I say this to the member, that I share the WLGA's ambition for a three-year cycle. I wish I was in a position to do that for them. But we do not have a Welsh Government budget for the third year of this cycle because there has been no comprehensive spending review by the incoming government elected in June of this year, and in circumstances where I simply do not know how much money we will have available to use for all public services in Wales, I cannot give local government a sensible and reliable indicative budget for that third year. I wish I was in a position to do that because I understand the points that they made to you and that you made this afternoon about that helping them to be able to plan. I made a judgment, that it was possible to provide a firm budget for next year and a reliably indicative budget for the second year in the budget that I laid on the 3rd of October, without the figures that I need from the UK Government about what the shape of the Welsh Government's budget will be in a third year. I simply didn't have reliable enough information to be able to give local government figures on which they could plan properly.
Yes, thanks for clarifying that. Of course, that lack of information would make it very difficult. So I take it that the situation regarding the UK Government and Scotland is therefore different from the situation regarding the UK Government and local government funding in Wales. But continuing with the theme of the financing of local government, you've stressed in the past to the WLGA the need to seek alternative sources of income. Now, the WLGA say that this is currently easier for councils in England to achieve due to their power of general competence. We heard today that English councils have invested in petrol stations, in superstores, and in London even own their own shopping centres. If councils in Wales had the power of general competence, would this more entrepreneurial route be a good route for them to go down, do you think, or would there be too many potential drawbacks?
Well, I am keen to provide local authorities in Wales with a general power of competence. It was included in the draft bill published during the last Assembly term and was widely welcomed by local authorities. It's one of the reasons why I'm keen to press ahead with local government reform, so we can bring a bill in front of this Assembly that will provide local authorities in Wales with exactly that ability. I think they will want to look carefully at some of the ways in which those powers have been used across our border. I think that there are some positive lessons that can be learned from things that local authorities there may have been able to do. Some of the more speculative investments that have been made, of the sort that Mr Bennett outlined, are giving rise to some concerns in some parts of England about whether taxpayers' money has been reliably invested and whether it will give local taxpayers a proper return. Sometimes it's lucky to be going second in something because you are able to gain from the experience of those who have gone first. And this is an area where I think Welsh local government will be able to reflect on the experience across our border, use the new power we're keen to give them where they can do it to advantage, but maybe not to be drawn into some areas of activity where proper returns and the sort of levels of probity that we would expect may not be so easy to guarantee.
Yes, thank you. That, of course, I think you need to have some kind of thought to the possible disadvantages which you've outlined. So I think that's a sensible answer. Now, another development in England is Another development in England is that at least one council has successfully set up a not-for-profit energy company. That is the Robin Hood Company in Nottingham. Now, if these powers of general competence did come to Wales, do you think that would be an idea that some local councils could effectively pursue here?
Well, there is a very long and proud history in Wales, dating back many years, and particularly during the interwar years of municipal socialism, in which local authorities were indeed the direct suppliers of utility services like water and like energy. Now, I am keen to see some of that spirit reinvented in the modern era. You can't do it exactly as it was done then, but finding new ways in which local authorities can provide services that make sure that those, and this is the case in the Nottinghamshire scheme, isn't it, is that the scheme is focused on making sure that those who have the least ability to pay bills are not further disadvantaged by being drawn into the most expensive forms of tariff. By organising it on a public basis and a not-for-profit distribution basis, it is more possible to make sure that tariffs are available that protect those who need that protection the most. And I'm sure there will be some Welsh local authorities who will want to look at that experience and see whether they will be able to do more of that sort here in Wales.
Thank you.